WavyOcho. I'm gonna react to Lil Durk. Um, how he almost won his career.
Everybody knows Lil Durk's made his mark as a rapper. Last year, he earned his first #1 album, and people are starting to consider him a leader in the rap world. But did you know that things could have gone very differently for Durk really easily? I usually spend my time talking about the artist that lost it all, but this guy here narrowly escaped, ending his career for good. Lil Durk started rapping professionally in the 2010s. He was still a teenager at the time.
Lil Durk been, rapping. The first song I heard of Lil Durk was, This Ain't What You Want. I think it was 2013, 2014, around those years. That's the first song I heard Lil Durk.
Man, he was the perfect age to grow and innovate. He arrived just in time to slide into the drill scene and drop 2 singles, Sneak Dissin' and I'm a Hitter. These 2 tracks not only got positive attention, but also helped Durk distinguish himself from his contemporaries. These singles are where Durk established his unique auto-tune drenched approach. Something that separates Durk from other drill rappers is his longevity. He's been in the game a long time. It's been more than a decade since he released those first tracks. How did he stay relevant? Why didn't he burn out the way so many other young rappers do? Lil Durk made sure to always keep evolving his sound. In a review of his 3rd mixtape, Pitchfork remarked that Durk's songwriting has grown tighter and more evocative with time, and as time passed, Lil Durk continued dropping tracks and changing things up. He may have been making music for a long time, but fans knew they'd never get bored of him. The Durk of 2011 didn't sound like the Durk
Beats Fire, Meek Mill featuring Rick Ross, I'm a Boss.
of 2012 or 2013. He kept the grind up and was soon named a member of XXL's freshman class of 2014. In the present day, Durk has gotten features alongside artists like Kanye and Drake. He's a big name with a solid fan base who's...
Durk does mad features. He even do a feature with NBA YoungBoy. He even got a feature with NBA YoungBoy, even though they not jacking each other, but still, they got a song together.
He hit his stride. Musically, Durk's staying power isn't shocking. A 2014 docuseries titled Chirac rightfully referred to Durk as the superstar in waiting. People could tell from the beginning that he had talent. It was just a matter of him getting his time in the spotlight. But that's just the story of his musical success, which is only half the story. If you look into Durk's legal history, his success looks a lot less inevitable and much luckier. Durk's career was plagued by many of the same problems facing younger drill rappers. He was involved in street violence from a young age, and that didn't stop the second he picked up a mic. How could it? But that meant he found himself running into issues with the police again and again. His first stunt in his career occurred right after he started getting some attention. He did some time for some minor legal issues in 2011. The time was brief, and some worried it would hurt his momentum. One article at the time points out that a 3-month stint is only a skid bit. It hurts any artist who has to sit down during their rise, especially at the height of their local popularity. But Durk didn't let his prison time stagnate his career. Just hours after his release, he participated in a post-prison interview where he announced his intent to head to the studio to work on a new mixtape. The very second he was out of prison, he was back to pushing his music. This was probably one of the first times that Lil Durk's legal issues would affect his career for the worse. Luckily, it wasn't too serious, and his constant music releases allowed him to brush off the incident. Durk's troubles may have started small, but they'd soon escalate to legal things harder to shake. In 2012, Lil Durk dropped L's Anthem, a song that would end the lives of multiple people. You see, it's no secret that Lil Durk was gang affiliated. He caught a gun possession charge by this part, and we all know why. Durk has had his fair share of ops and had to stay strapped. What's this got to do with L's Anthem? Well, it was the first major time Lil Durk called out an op in his song, and his music spilled out into real-life brutality. L's Anthem was a vicious diss track that many believe was the fuse that ignited the already existing gang wars in Chicago onto an even bigger level. During the song, Lil Durk spits out,
Brick Squad, I say fuck them.
the song ended up blowing up locally and getting a lot of radio play from Chicago stations. This meant it wasn't too surprising when the crew Durk disrespected heard the song. One Brick Squad member, Lil Jojo, wasn't having it. He was furious when he heard the track and quickly dropped his own response. However, Jojo took it a step too far. Jojo's song, 300, didn't just diss Lil Durk. It came for all the black disciples.
These niggas claim 300, but we BDK.
This kicked off a beef that quickly escalated. Jojo dropped another track and kept disrespecting black disciples publicly. They clapped back on Twitter and warned him things would get physical if he continued.
That loyalty shit too, bro. Niggas smack you in the face, Joe, from the back. You feel me?
Soon enough, the news was reporting on Jojo's passing. Now, his passing may be sad, but what does that have to do with Durk's career? Lil Durk's song is what sparked the conflict. He easily could have been taken out by Lil Jojo or another Brick Squad member for his words. The police also could have tried to tie Lil Durk to the crime because of his video. Nowadays, using song lyrics as evidence against drill rappers is relatively common. Durk could have gotten into a similar situation, but fortunately for him, none of that happened. But it shows one example of how Lil Durk's life could have easily gone left. This situation could have escalated into an offing Lil Durk, or the police accusing him of involvement in JoJo's passing. It didn't, but that was due to luck. After this incident, Durk managed to mostly keep himself out of trouble. He was caught on another charge for possession, but was eventually released. Lil Durk wouldn't get charged with another potentially career-ending situation until 2019. That's when it all almost came crumbling down.
Criminal case against rapper Lil Durk in Fulton County Court. They say around 5 in the morning on February 5th, Lil Durk, whose real name is Durk Derek Banks, and his co-defendant Devontae Bennett were seen on camera involved in shooting Alexander Witherspoon, a person police say they knew.
In May of 2019, police accused King Von and Lil Durk of planning to rob John Witherspoon. On February 5th, a warrant was put out for their arrests, and both rappers turned themselves in. After that, a judge confirmed that there was probable cause for their arrests. He and Von were facing 5 felony charges. If he lost his case, he wouldn't see the light of day for a long time. Could Lil Durk beat the charges? At first, things weren't looking good. The prosecution claimed video footage showing Lil Durk firing a weapon at the scene of this incident. They also claimed to have witnesses who saw him. Was this the end of Lil Durk? He'd been involved in enough that it's fair to say police were certainly hoping to lock him up. Lil Durk and his lawyers fought the charges for 3 long years until finally the case was dropped in October of 2022. The prosecution wrote, "The facts of this case have been reviewed, and although probable cause existed for the defendant's arrest, the decision at this time is not to prosecute." Why was the case dropped? The primary issue was that the prosecution struggled to prove anything. They couldn't definitively demonstrate that the victim was an op of Durk or King Von. That also meant they couldn't prove intent or motive. The prosecution also found their video of Lil Durk firing was far less conclusive than they thought. Durk shaking off that case 100% saved his career. If he'd been hit for 5 felonies, it would have ended everything.
Yeah, you would not have those big features. He would not have those big features with Drake, Kanye, all those rappers, bro. Like, he would still be in jail.
Handled everything in court. And stay smart about never cooperating with the cops. Lil Durk isn't very little in the rap game. He's a veteran rapper who'd been in the game for a decade and is one of the biggest rappers out there. Complex recently praised Durk, stating, "Crafty lyrics and standout lines have assisted in reinvigorating excitement around the Chicago rapper." More than 10 years later, Lil Durk is still bringing things to the table. That's why I'm glad that Durk's situation with JoJo didn't escalate and that he was able to fight off his 2019 case. If Durk was rotting in prison right now, or if an op had taken him out, we'd all miss out on some great music. And who knows, he could go down as an all-time great very soon.
Okay, that's the vid. Yeah, let me know what y'all think about Lil Durk. Like, comment down below what is your favorite Lil Durk song, bro. Like, so yeah, bro, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the vibes. So we're just checking out you are.